Hello and welcome to the Evidence Based Chiropractor. I am your host, Dr. Jeff Langmaid. And on today's episode, we're talking all about chiropractic websites. If you haven't seen, we recently relaunched The Smart Chiropractor, thesmartchiropractor.com. I want to talk about why we did that, what we looked for when building a website, what's on the website, and really all of this in terms of how it applies to your practice website, because it is one of the most important and impactful front doors, quote unquote, literally speaking, for many people to come in contact with your practice. So your website's critically important. And if you are on a set it and forget it plan with somebody, please listen to this episode, because I think there's a lot of tips, little nuggets that you can take away to create further impact, to ask good questions of your website company so that you can get the best results possible. And with many people paying $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 or more per month just for their website, it is something that you want to make sure that you have dialed in. Before we get started, I will ask you, if you have not left us a rating or a review on iTunes for this podcast, please scroll on down if you're listening on the iPhone. Leave us a rating or review. That's how more and more docs find out about this podcast. And if you like geeking out on marketing, we recently launched the Smart Chiropractor podcast, which is marketing focused. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes as well, so you can be sure to check that out. But as I said at the top, we're talking websites. So over the last few months, we've been working super hard behind the scenes on the smartchiropractor.com, and we'll pick it up right there. Why were we doing that? And there's a couple different reasons, and all of this applies to you and your practice as well. Number one is that we wanted to better explain who we are and what we do. Previously, we had a super simple website where it was basically one page. That one page was pretty robust, but I don't think it gave a really good feeling for a visitor to understand exactly who are we? How do we think about marketing? Look at the entire team that's behind the Smart Chiropractor helping progress it forward. Here, what is there a blog? Previously, there wasn't. So now, as we're going to talk about in a moment, there's SEO capabilities. Now that we have launched that podcast, we have a tab for that there. We also have a better understanding of how it works, what's included, case studies in your practice. This would be testimonials, right? Making sure that you have all of that data and information present is critically important for people to really connect with you and have a better understanding of exactly who you are and exactly how your service as a chiropractor can impact their life. And when anybody's making a decision about a service, whether it's joining the Smart Chiropractor or whether it's coming into your practice, having an understanding of the benefits they can expect to receive, super important, right? We learn a lot of this through Donald Miller and story branding, understanding that they are the hero and you are the guide. And that's an important part of it. But you also need to have some depth, right? There's a big difference between trying to quote unquote sell something online that's $2. That doesn't need a ton of explanation because there's low risk, right? But healthcare is one of those things that has high perceived risk. The most important thing in many people's lives is their health. Once you have it, it's the only thing that's important is reclaiming it. So you have to be able to build trust, and trust happens through consistency of messaging, but it also happens through context and understanding exactly who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And that is why we've built out the Smart Chiropractor to be so much more robust, is we knew we were falling short on that previously in our business of really people being able to understand, what is this service? Why should I have it? And what are some of those results that people can expect? And I'm going to encourage you, we're going to dive in right there in a couple other pieces. Testimonials on websites, especially on service websites, chiropractic websites, super important. You can never have enough, and you should keep on recycling them. So don't have just static testimonials from yesteryear that just have been there for years and years and years. Those are things that should be dynamic. So the way we thought about it with the Smart Chiropractor, maybe this applies to your practice, is we sort of thought about it in terms of short bits, right? So we have a picture, we have the name of the individual. You want to build trust. You don't want it to just be John with no picture and then a testimonial. That doesn't really build trust. You want to have the first name, the last name, the picture of the person, smiling and happy if possible, right? That leads a good impression. And then that short bit of testimonials. And if you want to check this out, you can see it at thesmartchiropractor.com. If you click over to case studies page, you'll see all of these. You'll see testimonials scattered throughout. But specifically on the case study page, we arrange it there. So if you want to see how to enable testimonials in a great way, head over there. But then we went one step farther, and we put up case studies. And I think this is something that many chiropractors could also do, and you could do in your practice that you probably haven't thought of, is going a little bit deeper on, let's say, what are the 3 most common things that people come in with to your practice, right? It could be low back pain, it could be headaches, and it could be neck pain. We'll pick 3 easy ones. Doing a deep dive case study on a headache case, a low back pain case, and a neck pain case could be super impactful for your practice, where you go deeper. And it's not just the one line of, hey, Dr. Jeff helped me out, or ours of, hey, Smart Chiropractor generates consistent patient activations, new patients and reactivations for me each and every week on autopilot. That's great. But the case studies allow you to go one level deeper. So for instance, with the Smart Chiropractor, we did a case study on added revenue, how one of our email sequences generated over $11,000 in revenue for one of our docs. We did a case study on consistency, because we know docs struggle with marketing their practice consistently. I don't want to call you out listening here, but you probably do as well. And when you have consistency of messaging and when you automate it through our services, 3 to 5 patient reactivations per week. So we touched on Dr. Brennan Bates out in Arizona regarding that. And then reactivations, a big component, right? So Dr. Mike Mills, great doc, and somebody we love working with, he has 85% of his patients stay sort of activated throughout time. And that happens through consistent communication, all of which is automated through our service. So we look at it and say, what are the pain points that docs are dealing with? Well, they're looking to add more revenue and grow, right? They want to have reactivations and relationships instead of transactions with their patients. And consistency is a super pain point. So we outlined in our case studies all of these specifics around how we solve those issues. Now, for you, again, you could think about this in terms of low back pain, headaches, neck pain. How did you take care? What was this person struggling with? How was their life impacted by it? And then what did you do in the practice? And now, what is their life like today? If you can tell that story and weave that story throughout the case study, it becomes super, super impactful when somebody's looking through your testimonials and like, okay, this doc looks like they might make sense for me. And imagine then if they scroll down a little bit farther and they're like, low back pain, that sciatica, that's what I'm dealing with. Let me click there. And then they get to know somebody in your practice that had success with your care. Super, super important. And to check out exactly what I'm talking about, again, head over to smartchiropractor.com and you will see under resources, under how it works tab, you will see case studies, and that will show you exactly what I'm discussing. And you can model and mirror this for your own practice. We kind of walk, we practice what we preach, so to speak. So, check it all out and utilize these things as guides for how you can go about integrating in your practice. Additionally, we have resources, right? So we have guides that are essentially in a marketing world would be deemed lead magnets, right? Now you could have this as maybe, how to get rid of low back pain, how to get rid of neck pain, a simple PDF that somebody enters their email, and then you deliver this PDF to them. We're actually adding this into the Smart Chiropractor in 2021 lead magnet sequences, because we have all the email already built out that is going to enable people to really accelerate. It's like a fast forward button for practice growth, right? Having lead magnets. So for us, for instance, if you head over to resources, you click on guides, you'll see launching your first chiropractic Facebook ad. So we put out a guide on exactly, if you want to launch your own chiropractic Facebook ad, here's exactly how to do it without doing like bait and switch crap, without having to do a discount ad. Here's how to do it in a way that makes sense, is super ethical and pretty awesome. Now we also have a social media guide, so social media marketing guide, because that's the core of a lot of what we do. And we also have a telehealth guide for chiropractors, because we know so many docs have started to dip their toes into telehealth since COVID began earlier this year. So we have those guides there that are sort of deep dives, again, on these specific topics, that if you have that pain point, head on over, download it, you'll get the guide. And then that gives us the opportunity also to follow up with you and see if there's more that we can help you with in your practice. But you could do the same, again, you can do the same thing in your practice. And I would encourage you to do so, because again, think about your practice website is the front door for people. They come over and they walk in the front door and there's just one room and they're like, okay, this is cool. See you later. In internet marketing, we call that bounce, right? Somebody clicks on, there's there's not much to do, there's not much to see, they leave with less than a minute, that's called bounce. And the higher your bounce rate is, the lower your ranking in Google will be. So you don't want people bouncing. You want people to engage. Time on page is one of the most critically important SEO factors. And how do you drive time on page? Well, one, by having cool stuff and interesting stuff that people want to check out, but also having a lot of doors, right? Making sure that you have a lot of rooms in your house. So when somebody walks in the front door of your website, they see that there's a lot that they can explore that improves the likelihood that you'll continue to be able to build that relationship, deepen it, lower your bounce rate, etc. One of the other components that I'm going to say is a huge deal is a blog page. So previously we did not have a blog. Yes, it sounds ludicrous, but we did not have a blog, but we launched our blog. There's like over 24 different blog posts that we put up immediately. Why SEO should be the backbone of your strategy, 5 lead generation strategies, social media tips, how to run Facebook ads, quick start guide to recording equipment, email marketing strategies, social media tactics, profitable campaigns in email. We put up all of this. And if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about, you can head over to the blog at thesmartchiropractor.com. I'll link it down below as well. But a blog is a great place to draw that Google juice, right? So blog headlines and titles give you a great opportunity to tie into highly searched terms in your community and get SEO for them. This is how we build out our Smart Chiropractor marketing campaigns. Monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts are all around highly searched terms that people are utilizing. And we actually give blog copy to all of our members as well. So you can just take it and run with it. And you have fresh items each and every week on your website. That is also important. Google loves fresh content. So you want to track for keywords, but you also need consistency of content. So you can probably see I might be making your head spin right now with all this marketing talk, but it's not easy. But when you have a strategy, when you have a playbook, and certainly when you have a guide, which is like us as the Smart Chiropractor, we can help make that super easy because we do all the content creation for you so that you can just basically set it and forget it, which is where really the benefit comes in for you. Now, when we're home growing this, we just get after it with exactly what we know needs to happen to boost our SEO, to get more of that organic search. We want to be, when you're searching chiropractic marketing on wherever, YouTube, Google, Bing, whoever uses that, Yahoo, we literally want to be like the first 5 results. And we're going to work hard to sort of earn that place and earn that trust by putting out what we think is the best chiropractic marketing content in the field. So that was the impetus for the blog. That's why that is out there. Additionally, again, we have a link to the podcast. So if you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram page, and Facebook page, etc., we link all of that. Make sure that that is linked on your website and that you don't overlook it. As foolish as that sounds, that happens and it's happened before. So make sure that all of your properties are linked together so that it is one ecosystem and they're not just like these silos that are not connected. All of your properties should link to each other. So if somebody comes in and connects with you on LinkedIn, they could visit your profile, see that you have a website, they visit the website, they see that you have a podcast or a YouTube page or an Instagram page or a Facebook page. They're able to click on those things and get to know you further and deeper. All of this is exactly how you can build and grow a great chiropractic website that helps you rank higher on Google. And that's really important in today's day and age, right? You want to have those reviews. You want to make sure that you have some active lead generation, but you also need to make sure that you're showing up where you need to show up. Consistency matters, messaging, professionalism. This is where we really shine with the Smart Chiropractor, but I'm going to encourage you, if you're doing it all yourself, keep an eye on it. It is super hard to do it all yourself, but if you are trying to do so, please take all the tips that we broke down today and ensure that you have all of these activated. The one other piece that I'll say is that you'll notice if you visit our website, and you can check all of this out in real time right now, head over to Smart Chiropractor, you can see everything I'm talking about. When you go to exit the page, you will notice that there's an exit intent pop-up. That means when you move your mouse up to that back button, you will notice a pop-up comes up. And that pop-up is there to collect your email address, full disclosure. So you can, again, watch and learn, like get involved with this stuff and see what we're doing, see how other docs are doing it, and learn from it because it can help you build and grow your own website as well. I could probably do individual episodes on a lot of the components I'm talking about. This is sort of the overview. you. But make sure that you have an exit intent pop-up on your website. If you have 100 people visiting your website a month, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to be getting 10 email addresses, 10% conversion to be able to follow up with those individuals. And if you have 10% conversion there, that's one new patient. You should be able to get way better than that. And I'm imagining you have more than 100 people, so you could scale up those numbers. You might be able to get 5, 10, 15 new patients from your website alone, just on the exit intent pop-up to collect their email and follow up with them. Chiro emails, we actually have that totally built out. So any member of the Smart Chiropractor has access to Chiro emails, our totally automated email marketing solution that we create the content, we create all the automations, but we also have exit intent pop-ups where you can have an exit intent pop-up on your website and start collecting those. If you don't have that going on and it's not funneling directly into your email list, you are missing a massive opportunity for growth. You might have had tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands, some docs out there, people visit their website, not collecting a single email the entire time. You are missing opportunity. So all of this, and probably the best place to start is check out our blog. It is going to literally fast forward your marketing because we've been doing this so long. We've worked with so many practices and we've seen the results time and time again. I'm going to say right now, I think Jason and I, combined, we're over 100 million impressions on Facebook of content that we've put out. And we are over 500,000 emails through our members that we send out each and every month. So we have the volume to know exactly how to do this. There's really we continue to learn and iterate and improve, right? But we've done this. We know what we're doing and we know how to get the results. So if you want to see all of this in action, take what you can from what I discussed, what you see on the website, build it into what you are currently doing, or better yet, if you want us to be able to help get you there and you really want to accelerate progress, think about becoming a member of the Smart Chiropractor. If you have any questions about it whatsoever, feel free to hit me up, jeff@theevidencebasedchiropractor.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions whatsoever. Have a great week in practice, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Evidence Based Chiropractor. If you want to grow your practice, come back for next week's episode. If you want to grow faster, visit theevidencebasedchiropractor.com and join our MD Marketing membership today.